You go to battle with what you have, not always with what you want. And this is also true in terms of role-playing games. We're exploring Dungeons and Dragons right now, but this player equation applies to a variety of systems. A balanced party, an optimized party versus a party that tends to be phased towards one side. A couple of options, a couple of points to keep in mind. Now, as a DM, if I sit down behind the DM screen here with all of my notes and miniatures and dice and maps, I want you, the player, as a player, to play the type of character you want to play. I want that to physically be your avatar on the table. Any race, any class, any alignment, let's do it. Come up with that bio, evolve that story. Let's create that narrative together. So when we're starting out in an adventure or a campaign, it's not so much, well, BC James is playing the fighter, okay? No one else is allowed to play a fighter. And Ultra Bob is playing the paladin. No one else is allowed to play a paladin. No, play what you want. Now, like me, I've played a variety of character classes. I'm going to step around as a player now. I like to play wizards. I love to play sorcerers. I love to play monks. So if another player is playing one of these characters, I'll give them first pass. I'll play a rogue. Does the party need a cleric? I have a variety of characters, and I'm very, very flexible. So I'd like you to play the character you want to play, and then I'll see where I can fill out in the party. Back as a DM. So what happens when we have a party of, say, 3 fighters and a rogue, or mostly martial classes and not so much cleric or support type classes? When there's an imbalance, what do? You're going into that dungeon, into the crypts of no return, and the party composition, 2 fighters, a barbarian, and a paladin. It's going to be undead. No crowd control with the cleric. No magical support. So what we want to look at when a party is out of balance, and I say out of balance not in a bad thing, but D&D kind of makes the assumption, having its genesis, having its DNA as a war game, Dungeons & Dragons kind of makes the assumption 4 to 6 players. You know, this was especially true in AD&D balanced parties, but it's true in the current edition of D&D. 4 to 6 players, primary frontline fighters, secondary fighters, divine, spellcaster, arcane, and some sort of support, trap detection, lock picking, like a rogue. Maybe we have a bard, maybe we have a druid, some crossover within those 2 fields, but we're going to try and cover all the bases. When you are out of alignment, then what we want to do is this duality of anytime there's a challenge to undertake, go all in. So if you're playing 4 fighter classes and combat breaks out, all 4 of you have to overwhelm me as a DM. Don't have someone back and try to do the range game. Don't have someone try to outflank like a rogue might do, sneak attack. You don't have the abilities for that. You're not in a supporting role. If you're playing a fighter, yeah, you could use a crossbow or a bow, but is that going to be as effective as a spellcaster? No. So look at what your strengths are. Go all in, commit, hostile, fast, aggressive against the DM, in a good way. You know, we're talking tactics, and push that way in. The places where you're weak, this is where the role-playing comes in. You're going into the dungeon, you found the map, you know, do a little research, pay some gold, talk to the bar, keep, tap, tender, the Thieves Guild, the Temple of Helm, gather that info and try to find out what you're going in against, and then supplement it with potions. Potions are a great way at low cost, although they can add up in price. And one of the things we want to keep in mind with potions being consumables, if you pay 150 gold for a potion, you use it, you're gone 150. As opposed to, so let's say you spend $2,000 on potions. When you use them, they are very powerful. They're that get out of jail, get out of the dungeon free card. But when they're done, they're gone. If you buy a ring of protection +1 for $2,000, you have that ring as long as you have it. So we need to have some sort of internal balance with potions. Having them, yes, every adventurer should have them. I've pushed up to the archive here on my RPG channel. Top 3 potions that I believe every adventurer should have. But look in the areas you're deficient. So if you're deficient in outright heals, I mean, the paladin can do some heals, then stock up on healing potions. If you're going to be dealing with undead, stock up on some control undead or avoid undead potions. Look at the different ways that you can utilize potions to minimize, because they're able to be utilized by every single class in the game. There's no restrictions like, well, you have to be a wizard, or to use certain scrolls, you have to be a cleric, or to use certain objects. Depending on the version of D&D 3.x, you need a high enough UMD. Potions are good by everybody. So with a party that's out of balance, maximize your focus of what you're good at, and try to overload the DM as fast as you can, and look for consumables, look for potions, but mind that gold purse to see how you can boost yourself and carry you over and through those other deficiencies.